history of aliens in pop culture is a fascinating journey that reflects humanity's evolving fears, hopes, and curiosities about the unknown. From ancient myths to modern blockbusters, extraterrestrial beings have captured our imagination, serving as metaphors for societal anxieties, technological advancements, and existential questions. The portrayal of aliens has shifted dramatically over time, influenced by scientific discoveries, political climates, and cultural shifts. This exploration of aliens in pop culture reveals how these fictional beings mirror our deepest desires and darkest fears. Early depictions, myths, and mysteries. Long before the term alien was coined, ancient civilizations told stories of otherworldly beings. In Hindu scriptures, the Vimanas, flying chariots, were described as vehicles of the gods, while Greek myths spoke of celestial beings descending from the heavens. These early tales often blended the divine with the extraterrestrial, suggesting that gods might have been interpreted as advanced beings from other worlds. Even in the Middle Ages, strange lights and celestial phenomena were sometimes attributed to supernatural or otherworldly forces. The idea of life beyond Earth gained scientific traction in the 16th and 17th centuries as astronomers like Galileo and Copernicus challenged the geocentric view of the universe. Philosophers such as Giordano Bruno speculated about infinite worlds inhabited by intelligent beings. However, it wasn't until the 19th century, with the rise of science fiction, that aliens began to take a more recognizable form in popular culture. The birth of science fiction and early alien encounters. The 19th century saw the emergence of science fiction as a literary genre, with authors like H.G. Wells and Jules Verne pioneering stories about space travel and alien life. Wells' The War of the Worlds, 1898, was a groundbreaking work that introduced the concept of a hostile alien invasion. The Martians in the novel were technologically superior but morally ambiguous, reflecting fears of colonialism and industrialization. The infamous 1938 radio adaptation by Orson Welles demonstrated the power of alien narratives to incite real-world panic, as many listeners believed Earth was actually under attack. Early 20th century pulp magazines like Amazing Stories further popularized alien tropes, featuring stories about bug-eyed monsters, BEMs, and interstellar adventures. These depictions were often simplistic, portraying aliens as either savage invaders or benevolent saviors. The 1930s and 1940s saw the rise of comic book aliens, such as Superman, an immigrant from the doomed planet Krypton, whose story paralleled themes of displacement and assimilation. The golden age of UFOs and Cold War paranoia. The post-World War II era marked a turning point in alien pop culture, heavily influenced by the Roswell incident, 1947, and the growing UFO phenomenon. The Cold War fueled fears of infiltration and nuclear annihilation, which were reflected in alien invasion films like The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. These films used extraterrestrials as allegories for communism, brainwashing, and the loss of individuality. The 1950s and 1960s were the golden age of B-movie sci-fi, with films like Plan 9 from Outer Space, 1957, and It Came from Outer Space, 1953, presenting aliens as either monstrous threats or misunderstood visitors. Television also embraced alien themes with shows like The Twilight Zone, 1959 to 1964, which explored existential and moral dilemmas through extraterrestrial encounters, the space age, and the shift toward sympathetic aliens. The 1960 space race and the moon landing in 1969 shifted public perception of aliens from fear to curiosity. Star Trek, 1966 to 1969, introduced a more optimistic vision of space exploration, featuring diverse alien species like Vulcans and Klingon, who represented different aspects of humanity. The show's progressive themes emphasized cooperation and understanding, contrasting with earlier paranoid depictions. Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, and E.T. the Extraterrestrial 1982 further humanized aliens, portraying them as benevolent and even childlike. These films reflected a cultural shift toward wonder rather than fear, coinciding with growing interest in ufology and the possibility of peaceful contact. Alien horror and the resurgence of fear. Despite the trend toward friendly aliens, the late 20th century also saw a resurgence of terrifying extraterrestrials. Ridley Scott's Alien, 1979, introduced the xenomorph, a perfect predator that embodied body horror and existential dread. James Cameron's Aliens, 1986, expanded on this with themes of corporate greed and militarization. Meanwhile, The X-Files, 1993 to 2002, blended government conspiracy theories with alien mythology, tapping into 1990s distrust of authority. Independence Day, 1996, revived the classic alien invasion trope on a blockbuster scale, while Men in Black, 1997, added humor to the mix, satirizing UFO culture. These films showed that aliens could be both terrifying and entertaining, depending on the narrative approach. Modern depictions, from superheroes to existential threats. The 21st century has seen aliens integrated into nearly every genre. Marvel and DC Comics have expanded their cosmic universes, with characters like Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy making aliens mainstream. Films like District 9, 2009, used aliens to explore apartheid and xenophobia, while Arrival, 2016, presented a more philosophical take on communication and time. Television has continued to innovate with shows like Stranger Things, 2016 present, which blends 1980s nostalgia with alien horror, and Rick and Morty, 2013 present, which satirizes sci-fi tropes with absurdist humor. Video games like Mass Effect and Halo have also contributed to alien lore, allowing players to interact with complex extraterrestrial civilizations. Conclusion: the history of aliens in pop culture is a mirror of human society. From ancient myths to modern media, extraterrestrials have served as symbols of our fears, hopes, and unanswered questions. Whether as invaders, saviors, or metaphors for the unknown, aliens remain a powerful storytelling tool, adapting to each generation's unique anxieties and aspirations. As space exploration advances and the search for extraterrestrial life continues, one thing is certain: aliens will always have a place in our imagination.